Alright, time
A
to...
guardian must always
Yeah,
be prepared.
thank you, Shard. There you go, let's equip the Iron Fortitude, the ultimate armor set, given to us. And let's go to the final chapter of the game,
Yeah,
or at
after
least...
so yeah, so far we've got 10 different masks that
Never
we
give
stole
up.
from Magneto, and
The Beaks, there you go.
yeah, we're going to the Beaks, wherever that is.
Again, we're essentially having the final fight happened.
While Shard and his small band were returning from their travels. It was then that Allomere returned to the tree. It appeared his mission had been a
Oh, it
success,
was.
although it
You
was
don't
more
say.
dire than even I had expected. Within his talons, he carried a moon-blinked owlet.
Remember, that's the main protagonist's sister.
Sister Eglantine.
Yeah.
Oh
Allomere
no.
told a tale of pure one treachery. His wingmen had not survived the attack, but Allomere had escaped and had been able to wrestle this young owlet from the pure ones before he did. Suddenly, with the treachery of the pure ones confirmed, the Parliament, before unconvinced of Soren's story, called all the Guardians to battle.
About time.
I feared we did not know enough of the Pure One's plot. But my duty called me to stand beside my fellow Guardians
War.
and right yet another wrong.
His hell?
Kinda. So yeah, basically, while the main plot of the movie will go on, our main character, plus his wingman, will essentially
a heart of darkness.
A note from me
will just function as basically just a, a side,
it has come to this.
a side platoon.
War. The other Guardians and I have rushed into the heart of the darkness to make our stand against this Pure One threat. My gizzard stirs. I do not know what we will find there, and I fear for the worst. There is no doubt that we will need you and the knowledge you have gained from your journeys. Join us when you are
Anyway,
ready.
there you go, time for the final battle. Hooray.
Is that Owl
frustrated
questioning
at being left behind.
No,
Did
it's
you mind
just
the expression on
expression
his
lives.
He saw Soren and his comrades flying off to find the Guardians. Following them seemed the only
This
option.
is the Owl looked like, what the hell is this guy
And
talking
so it
about?
was they found themselves headed towards that baleful land of rocky spires, known as the Beaks.
So yeah, again, because we're just basically the side, platoon,
As we've journeyed
we're
through the
not really gonna
kingdoms,
confront
you've
the
continued
main
to
villain of
prove
the
your mettle as a
movie,
guardian
nor like his
again and
concubine or
again. The
anything.
battle of the Beaks
Instead,
will
we're gonna
truly
have a
test us,
final
Shard.
boss of
I will
our own.
proudly
Mind
fight
you,
by
it's
your
still
side,
someone that we
my
know,
It's
but
going to be the traitor, isn't it?
I mean, to be honest, Drova, the plot has foreshadowed it a bit long enough, so yeah, it's not even like... this is not the kind of game that will do something like that and then drop it.
Oh, you'd be surprised. Give a plot a stupid
No, I know
reason.
some games, licensed games do that. Apparently Superman Shadow of Apocalypse teases Darkseid for a long while, but then he just stops before he reaches it.
If I recall
Oh,
correctly,
no.
the Shadow of
Could be a
Apocalypse
fortress.
game
Let's fly
never
closer to
actually
get a better
reaches
look.
Apocalypse.
Shard, bats! They're
Well,
everywhere.
Joe, it's called Shadow of Apocalypse. So we reach a shadow.
It's because apparently Darkseid is helping
I'm
Lex
starting to feel
Luthor by
strange.
smuggling something on Earth from
The
Apocalypse.
battle-
I mean, it's a better game based on the animated series than Superman 64.
Okay,
Yeah, I know.
okay.
I know that's like saying, oh, I know that's like saying sitting on a beanbag better than sitting on a stool with spikes on it.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah, it's not too much of an accomplishment. I'll really express that. Though I've been told, remember when we mentioned in Deadly Premonition that the voice actor of the protagonist of that game did voice Superman in an Xbox exclusive title? Apparently I've seen a review of it, and apparently it's bad. Like,
Oh, was that Superman the Man of Steel game on Xbox?
yes, again, still not on level of Superman 64, mind you, but it's still like very bad and mediocre at best.
From what I played of Shadow of Apocalypse, it's decent at worst, I'd say.
No, it's just the plot, but it's more simple, but yeah, it's simple enough. And to be honest, for a game like that, it's fine. It's just the fact that it teases you about Darkseid and his forces when you don't really confront him in the slightest.
It's a shame we never got. Well, okay, we technically did get a Justice League DCAU game, but that was like what, that Flash Game Boy Advance game?
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, I mean, they mentioned it. There we go. So yeah, the first mission is just to destroy the Pure 1 scouts and the bats that are transporting the magnets.
You say that this is your favorite level in the game?
The favorite chapter, because again, it's like you're like now in the middle of the fight. Everything that you've done in the game comes to culminate here, even if it's not much. You know, it's still like relatively simple. You have all your wingmen at disposal or your special move at disposal, you know, and you get to blow shit up left and right. Plus, a very decent final boss.
Yeah, again, overall, as far as licensed tie-in games go, this one is pretty good. I mean,
it just has, again, you just have to remember the stigma that the licensed games had. Again, being released at full price for unsuspecting customers like grandpas who wanted to give something to their nephews.
Okay, like, you know, hindsight always just add a bit of levity to something. Like, you know, think about something like Smash Brothers releases and, you know, reveals and whatnot. The anticipation to them can be agonizing, but once they're passed, yeah, it doesn't feel as heavy here and there. Same to go with, you know, anticipating a movie here and there. Although I'll say this with stuff like Disney Plus, that kind of makes the whole fear of wasting money by going to the theater much alleviated since, well, just wait a bit and then you can watch it on Disney+.
To be fair,
no
Drova, that literally depends on your preferences. If you still enjoy having the experience of watching on a big screen and believing that it's different enough than just watching it on a computer or a TV, you know, that can be still a difference for you.
True. What I mean is, like, I mean, for those, you know, for people who are wary on wasting their money on bad movies, you know, I mean, at least if you're feeling very apprehensive about seeing a certain movie in theaters, especially given the circumstances nowadays, stuff like streaming services can help out. Granted, only when it's done morally right, and not when it's done as a breach of contract. I'm looking at you, Disney. Although I'll admit, it's kind of a miracle they apparently managed to settle their differences with Scarlett Johansson somehow.
Sorry, Parzival. I ran you headlong.
But anyway, hold on. But yeah, also, this is the end of your rivalry with Bandiskin's character, and now you're best buddies with him. Okay.
Oh, right. I forgot we were even rivals. Wasn't he our wingman the whole time?
Yes, but it was also kind of bit of a, again, Falco Lombardi situation, it was kind of a snark guy. But since in this battle we did save his life and everything from the ambush, we did, yes, he's actually grateful towards us. And there you go, these are actually the events of the movie happening.
I saw a figure suddenly descend from the sky.
Hey, that's the main character of the movie.
He looks nothing like how he did in the movie.
Shut up.
I mean, and it's not like they didn't have the copyright. This wasn't really based on anything.
Look at him, he's black! Like,
hey,
Soren
look at that,
white.
guys. We interacted, we were totally there the whole time, guys.
Soren, why are you black? You were white in the movie.
I'm afraid. We need to take out the Pure One's defenses to open the Stone Palace. Do it any way you can. But hurry, or our chars will never make it through.
Now that Soren has taken down the Fleck Trap, we can get in and take out the Pure One defenses. This will allow the Guardians to reach the Stone Palace. They're counting on us to do our part.
Thank you, Bandiskin's character. But no, it's also the fact that it was mostly just for that cutscene. Basically, Soren doesn't really have any voice lines. And your character doesn't really interact anymore with him. It was just a matter of, hey, see guys, your original character was totally in the final battle as well with the main character.
They couldn't even get Soren looking right though. Like if you were watching this alongside the movie, you'd be disappointed.
I wonder if the appearance is more accurate to what the book described.
Have you...
Considering again how these games seems to be taking inspiration more from the books or not. But again, it's just a speculation.
Was Soren black in the book?
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Again, it's not even the first time
So what you're telling me then, oh, you do know what that means if that's the case to you. they whitewash Soren in the movie if he was black in the original.
Which is weird because it's an owl. I mean,
that's
okay,
just
to
hilarious.
To be honest, I don't remember if there are any particular species of owls with black plumage.
There are.
No, go on, Taro. Go on, finish.
I think there's
whatever.
I think there are some in that regard, but like, well, if that's the case, what a weird thing to do.
Okay.
But again, Joe, but that is based just on speculation. For all we know, it was literally just developed Chrome Studios fucking up with a model, you know.
True.
Oh, I know. I'm just laughing if it is the case. Yes, Pedro?
Okay, for the sake of argument, let's say that Soren was indeed black in the book. Okay, I can at the very least understand Zack's decision there in the movie, because remember, like, usually when it comes to light and dark, they're like color coding, you know, like usually they have, in movies, they like to have the visual language of cinema have light colors for good guys and darker colors for bad guys. So I'm guessing if that was the case, maybe Zack's idea was that, it wasn't necessarily because
okay, I understand what you mean, Pedro, but not necessarily, because considering how the movie goes for the more realistic quote-unquote vibe, in a sense of having the species of owl reflecting what they actually look like in real life, most owls look brown or gray, which are darker colors by nature. Only a few of them, and even remember, the pure ones are literally owl Nazis, which means a lot of them do have lighter shades of color.
So if anything, shouldn't the darker ones be... Oh yeah, you know, kind of think of it, in the movie, most of the good guys were more darker shaded owls. Like, if anything, Soren was kind of the weird one out.
I think Soren's little sister was actually in a lighter shade of color of plumes, but I don't remember.
I remember Soren and his sister were the lighter colors, like white, if I recall correctly.
No, Soren I think was still like at least partially, I love brown plumage. But again, I'm just potentially just making, not making these up, like, making a thing bigger of a thing that doesn't even exist. So no, but anyway, for this mission, again, it's easy. You just need to blow shit up left and right, which fair enough by me.
Oh my god, you set that bird on fire.
Yes, you can. I did explain this, I think, in the second part, but still, why not? If you actually are currently grabbing pieces of hot coal and you haven't thrown them away, if you perform a grab attack or actually scratch an enemy while you're at it, you will automatically set them on fire. You can already do that if your combo meter is high enough, because at that point your talons, your talon equipment actually does catch fire, which counts as a power-up,
Wow, you can set birds on fire. What was this game rated?
I think it's T14, but remember, Joe, also in Chapter 3, in the Forest of Title, during the mission where you to extinguish the fire, you can potentially set yourself on fire if you're not careful.
I think it's ironic that, the movie that Zack Snyder made to be, one of his few movies that's applicable to kids, gets a game adaptation that's rated T for teen.
Okay, let me, to be honest, no, remember, I did check on the disc what was the rating. It was like in German, so I don't know what
Alright, let me look up the cover.
Yes, Ben Diskin's character, thank you. You know what's funny, Bo? I don't think I've ever mentioned this. When Pedro brought up the movie first, because again, I knew jack shit about the movie before Pedro mentioned it to us.
I have the rating. It's E for everyone ages 10 and up.
Sure.
So package 12 too, basically.
Well, okay, for a European rating, it's much fair, to be honest.
You know what? Kudos to them for thinking that kids can be mature enough to know that in real life you should not set birds on fire.
That's a statement. But again, the first time.
Actually, okay. Okay. If you'll allow me, speaking of setting birds on fire, you ever seen that that year of the Olympics where a bunch of
Yes,
birds set
yes,
on the fire.
I've seen internet historians' video about the Olympic flame. Yes, did mention also that, which is hilarious because he made that before 2020, where the curse went to its logical extreme.
Yes, it did. The Olympics actually got
Oh
canned.
no, I think it's now.
Oh, okay. I wonder if they.
The traitor turned out to be the very obviously evil bad guy from the first part.
Really?
Okay, I gotta be honest because again, it's been literally a year since we watched the movie. I forgot if Allomere was a character in the movie that was responsible for being a traitor. Remember, the movie did have a traitor character in it.
He murdered them all.
And yes, he was responsible for the death of Shard's parents.
So kill him, beat him, restore our family's honor,
Yeah,
and all
this
that.
is basically a reason why it's personal.
Okay then.
I need to find Allomere. I have to.
Forget him for now.
He was right in front of you for a bit.
Yeah, for the time being, as we've managed to take care of him, don't worry, he's gonna show up later. But the priority is to disable the flex towers. But anyway, what I was mentioning, oh, there you go. You also have to disable the catapult while you're at it. But the first time Peter brought up the movie, because again I knew jack shit about it, I honestly mistook it for another CGI movie with birds that I instead knew about, but I did forget the title. So when he told about it, I thought it was that one. It's a movie called Valiant.
Valiant?
But it's about flying pigeons, basically.
During World War II. That's a Disney movie, I think.
Oh, it is? Again, I knew only vague memories of a movie, so when I was told CGI, animated movie with birds, I was like, oh, hey, it's probably that. From 2005, also, so I have to expect the CGI to be very bad, or it has aged very badly.
I like Valiant. It's a decent enough movie.
Let's see. Production companies: Vanguard Animation, Ealing Studios, UK Film Council, distributed by Entertainment Film Studios and Buena Vista for North America. So yeah, to an extent Disney, but it seems to be just for North America.
That said, nowadays it's on Disney Plus, so
Dweebs, can you check in the meantime, please? Actually, it's BRB. We can ask him later.
Alright, to see if it's on the European one.
Yeah.
As a job, for all we know, it can be on other European Disney Plus, except from UK.
That is true.
As the UK is notoriously slow in terms of, because my Disney Plus has 127 hours, whereas this is a Fox movie that now is Disney. UK Disney Plus doesn't have it, and UK Disney Plus is probably the only one in the entire world that still only has Tangled Season 1.
Amazing.
Not just that, it seems to be just a country for country thing, because remember, my country did have Anastasia on base Disney Plus from launch, while for the UK we had to wait until Star arrived, before actually having it there.
So Pedro, it may interest you to know, but Valiant has quite the cast. It has Ian McGregor as Valiant, Tim Curry as the villain, of course.
Of course.
Ricky Gervais, Hugh Laurie, right, House, John Cleese, Jim Broadbent, John Hurt, and Olivia Williams, just to name a few. Oh yeah, and Rick Mayall, too.
Okay, that's quite the cast.
Yep.
Then again, getting celebrities for movies was all the rage and still is to this day, so I'm not that surprised. And Disney has deep pockets, so.
Though the movie itself was kind of a bomb, budget 35 million, box office 61.7.
Oh,
so,
okay. So looking at the poster, it was actually advertised as a Disney flick. Let me just copy this over here.
And yes, for this final mission, the X-Men are also back, so you need to watch out for those as well.
There you go. Walt Disney Pictures presents.
What's that? A picture for ants?
Mind you, this was advertised as being from the producer of Shrek and Shrek 2.
John H. Williams. Yeah, that checks out.
So, remind you, this was at a point where Disney were desperate to the point where, see, we got the producer of Shrek and Shrek 2, guys. We could be cool still. Please love us. We're sorry for Fantasia 2000 and Home on the Range.
And this was 2005, so Chicken Little was, if not already released, around the corner.
It showed Michael Eisen's complete mismanagement of the whole thing, because the next logical person for him to nominate the head of Walt Disney Animation Studios after after Jeffrey Katzenberg left was Don Hahn, aka the producer of The Lion King and Beauty and the Beast and Hunchback of Notre Dame. Like he was doing some really great, great work with the directors of those movies. He was also the producer of The Lion King as well, if I remember correctly, but I'll have to look up.
I mean, and you know, Lion King is just always...
And everyone understood why Michael Eisen didn't that he was the most natural choice. Like for example, to show how much my choice makes sense. Recently, Walt Disney Animation Studios did the correct thing when John Lasseter cutscene.
Yes, especially because after this mission I think we're about to tackle again Allomere. Again, I just love this final chapter because you literally blow shit up left and right.
Come to think of it, maybe Allomere was a character in the movie.
I think, again, apologies audience, it's been a year since I watched it.
God, has it already been a year since we commentated on that movie?
Yes.
What I remember from the movie is, of course, that iconic shot that we're using in the trailers all the time. Like,
Jova, mentality-wise, I'm still stuck at March 2020, if that makes any sense to you.
Jesus Christ, everything just feels like it's sped up but also slowed down ever since that pandemic hit.
Anyway, with less unfortunate talking, there we go.
Okay, so it turns out Allomere is an original character for the film, but it's possible he was based on Dewlap from the Guardians of Ga'Hoole books.
Okay then, there you go. For this final mission, you have to traverse the inside of the caves of the Pure Ones, among all their, the diabolical machinations. Again, Civilization Valve managed to build this shit. In order to confront Allomere while destroying from the inside what's left. Again, all the while, the protagonist of the movie is fighting his brother.
So the thing about Allomere in the movie, okay, so what happened in the movie was that, Allomere had betrayed them to Metalbeak, leader of the bad guys. However, when Soren and Gylfi plus Twilight and Digger arrived on the scene, Metalbeak believed that Allomere had lied when he said he would bring all of the Guardians, because at that time, Allomere didn't consider them as much a threat. So, stating he can no longer be trusted, Metalbeak betrayed Allomere, who was attacked and dragged away into a dark cave by several bats. So,
which is where we're actually going to fight him. So yeah, to be honest, yes, we're actually reconnecting to the events of the movie. All right.
How about that? Points for effort with this one, I guess.
Again, it shows that Chrome Studios did actually bother to care to create a product that would reward fans who actually watched the movie, but also people who actually read the books in some capacity. So again, I applaud to that, especially because even in the past, Chrome Studios has shown time and time again that they try to put some dedications into their work, mostly their flagship franchise, the Tasmanian Tiger.
And you know what? To give him even more credit, this fits so deeply into the movie that you could literally edit scenes together to have
it's the ultimate. It's the ultimate. It's the ultimate sad shame. The fact that so much dedication and it's almost completely squandered because nobody went to see the fucking movie.
Yikes.
Anyway, go on, Pedro. In the meantime.
No, like I said, just to demonstrate how. At the very least, a sign that Disney has learned from that mistake of not having Don Hahn succeed Katzenberg. Recently, after John Lasseter left Disney for, being an ass, the guy they got to be the new it was Jennifer Lee, but the new president, because at the time Ed Catmull was the president of Walt Disney Animation Studios. For those who don't know, Ed Catmull was Pixar's big John Lasseter friend, the guy who originally brought John Lasseter into Pixar back in the day. But Ed Catmull also went away because apparently he has been, safeguarding John Lasseter from accusations all these years. So obviously he had to go too.
Yeah.
The new guy they got to be the president of Walt Disney Animation Studios was actually Clark Spencer. Who is he? Well, he was the producer of Meet the Robinsons, Winnie the Pooh 2011, The Wreck-It Ralph duology, and more recently Big Hero 6 and Zootopia. And he's also now the producer of Encanto, the new movie by the directors of Zootopia.
That movie.
It's local. It's a movie with story and songs by Lin-Manuel Miranda, which automatically makes it a must-see in my eyes.
It really is a shame that Dan Juan never got his due, though. Like, seriously, the guy... Dan what? Don Han.
It's Don Han. Don as
Han.
in Donatello, basically. I'm pretty sure that's not his actual name, Donatello, but you know what I mean. Go on.
It is a shame that Don never got his due, though. Like, seriously, though. I mean, considering how he was helming... Again, Lion King, literally Disney's biggest animated success for over a decade. And
is it still actually the... No, actually, I was about to ask a very stupid question, because whatever record for just, Disney animated movie might have had, Frozen basically trampled all of them.
And then Lion King 2019 came back. Well, okay.
I'm talking just about the animated movies, Joe.
No, Tia, that's the thing. Lion King 2019 is actually counted as an animated movie these days.
I know that, but I'm talking about the main animated movie releases, Jova,
Yeah. As in the ones made by Walt Disney Animation Studios, not the live-action department.
I just love how Lion King 2019 is now counted as an animated flick, because Disney realized, wait, that one made that much money? Well, shoot, now we can hold the record even more. Well, yeah, and you know what?
Everything is done CGI. There's not a single live-action thing in it, so technically it is an animated film.
Isn't the background live-action? But still.
Animated.
We did something similar to Dinosaurs, Jova, where the backgrounds are done in order that it looks similar to live-action, but it's still not.
Oh, wow. In that case, the technology has really, really come a long ways. I'll give him credit on that.
It's just a shame that Jon Favreau misused it. Like I said before, like for as terrible as that movie is, the Dumbo movie actually showcased how you should have actually made the lines in that movie look.
Whoa. Are you saying that we shouldn't use this amazing technology to have a dung beetle literally roll a turd to bring a plot device towards our character? And yes!
Pacific Vision, Jova.
I mean, the frustrating thing about Lion King 2019, I can't even say I hate it because, well, it repeats so many beats from the original that, of course, I still liked it. It's just...
Well, the question is, Jova, because, yes, I still haven't seen it, Jova.
By that logic, anybody can make a movie that we like. Like, I consider that cheating. I'm sorry.
Oh, yes.
Not just that, Jova, but, again, I obviously haven't still seen it on my own.
Over and over. There you go.
Go on, Tim.
But isn't it also a case where even the new voice actors, just don't really give a shit?
No. The voice actors gave 110% on that one, and I actually...
Again, I heard John Oliver is not really at his best voicing Zazu.
Honestly,
I will give you that. No, he's not.
That said, though, Donald Glover is great as Simba. I actually did like Beyonce as Nala, and...
movie though.
Well, to be honest, probably the best thing that came out of John Oliver being Zazu is that now every once in a while he mentions as a recurring self-deprecation gag that he's supposed to be a bird. So there is that.
And you know what? I'll give Lion King 2019 this. It actually did improve on some things from the original Lion King movie, believe it or not.
I can only think of one thing, specifically Timon and Pumbaa, in the sense that they actually gave them an arc that actually made the incredibly barbaric things they were saying to Simba at the middle part actually make sense and actually lead to something. Because one of my big problems with Timon and Pumbaa in the original Lion King, that they're literally teaching Simba to run away from his problems, which won't necessarily be a problem if the movie acknowledged that as a bad thing and have the characters actually acknowledge it. But in the 2019, yes, it did, Whips. That's literally what Hakuna Matata is singing about. But then in Lion King 2019, they literally introduce an extra angle where Timon even goes, aside from the Hakuna Matata song, he even goes as far as to say, look, we have to only look out for ourselves, because nobody else will. And then he talks about the line of the straight line of indifference, or as he puts it. But then later, when Simba returns and Timon and Pumbaa follow him, he even says, what happened to the line of indifference? Well, we realize that sometimes it curves a little, says Pumbaa, and Timon's like, well, I'm saying, Simba, says, I'm always happy to admit when Pumbaa is wrong.
And you know what?
I mean, that's the character for Timon to be.
And you know what? And you know what? And you know what? The
That's what I'm saying. A natural acknowledgement that what Timon and Pumbaa were saying during their introduction was actually a bad thing that they themselves recognize, and now they've learned from that. That's all I wanted. Because that's my big problem. Because they're literally telling Simba, and I quote from the 1994. Is it 94? 94. 1994 movie. When the world, this is their life with no responsibilities, when the world turns the back on you, you turn your back on the world, and they're literally teaching Simba to run away from his problems and not. And just become a lazy bum, and that's my problem. And which again wouldn't be a problem if the movie treated it as an actual problem needs to be addressed, but it doesn't. That's my problem. And the 2019 movie actually fixes that. I know that a lot of people on the internet are gonna get mad at me for complimenting the 2019 remake over the original, but this is actually one of those cases where I will stand my ground and say, no, this is actually a better way to do it, actually.
To give the 2019 remake some more credit, the music score is not just a one-to-one repeat either. Hans Zimmer legit does go, okay, I tried this here and there. Now let's see how I can ramp it up some more here and there too. I'll say this, the 2019 remake is not completely worthless. The frustrating thing, though, is that it had tons of potential, but a lot of it was, well, more or less wasted on repeating some trends. Okay,
Also, the Beauty and the Beast remake is a better example of a movie that at the very least manages to just do it just enough to justify its existence, whereas Lion King 2019, for as much of an improvement as they did to Timon and Pumbaa, I will argue that's probably not enough for me.
I definitely agree that the original is better.
On the Beauty and the Beast example, though, I'd argue the Cinderella remake did the whole
definitely
things from the original better.
Oh, definitely. I'm pretty much everybody I think agrees on that anyway.
Yeah. In all of this, I still have to see what the Lady and the Tramp remake looks like.
Me too. And that's the thing. Unlike almost every other live-action remake,
nobody, as far as I know, nobody
a single bit about it.
Not just that.
Exclusive.
Not just that, as far as I know, no major, people, no major person on YouTube has reviewed it as far as I know, at least by the time of this recording.
Is it just that boring? Is it just good?
To be honest, Jova, even if it was boring, people will talk about it. Again, you have to remember, in an age where even the more mundane things get still talked about, actually not talking about something, the so-called, as I coined it, the time and effect eternity, feels incredibly odd. Because, again, even if it was that it reached a point where it's obscure enough that people will, could just capitalize by talking about it. But nobody is doing that.
Actually, someone mentioned Hans Zimmer earlier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I mentioned anything about it on commentary, but I'll admit, in regards to Hans Zimmer's recent work, I'll admit it, I was wrong. I actually really did like the score he did for No Time to Die, the new Bond film.
Guess it just took time to grow on you.
When I went into the film, I was expecting Hans Zimmer to just do his usual droning, big brass stuff he normally does. But no, there's actually quite a lot of melody in there.
So there we go. Allomere was here the entire time.
Yeah, Allomere was actually imprisoned in that structure that we destroyed. So what we need to do now is to exit the cavern, and at the very end of it, we'll have our confrontation with Allomere.
So it turns out Metalbeak didn't have him killed, just locked up. Metalbeak's a nice guy
which is true. I did check again the synopsis of the movie just to be sure again. Yes, I remember Allomere is Sam Neill's character. I completely forgot that it was voiced by him.
Oh God, right. Sam Neill was in that movie.
And in the movie, he literally just disappears, basically. He just gets taken away by Metalbeak's bats.
Can you
I can vouch for
imagine
what
if they
I'm
actually
saying.
planned for this to be the case because of the game?
Yeah, Pedro?
I can vouch for what Wibbs is saying, because it's actually the second time in a row where he was pleasantly surprised by Hans Zimmer's score. The previously was Wonder Woman 1984 score, which was where Hans Zimmer's score was actually the best thing about that movie.
Oh, yeah, without a
and,
doubt.
and also about No Time to Die, I think on Her Majesty's Secret Service is Hans Zimmer's favourite Bond film, because that score is referenced quite a few times throughout the movie.
It's,
Oh, really?
well, remember, to be fair, let's face it, from a thematic standpoint, it makes sense to reference that particular movie because of what happens in that movie, you know.
True. I mean, it's not part of the same continuity, but it still fits.
Like Hans Zimmer probably wanted to be clever with. See, I'm referencing that movie that has Bond falling in
Plus, I
love
mean-
for the first time and everything.
Plus the film itself references it as well. So I think it was because I mean,
It was probably intentional.
So from what I
yeah.
understand, so from what I've heard and understood about this movie, No Time to Die, it sounds like it's apparently a miracle because apparently there are a ton of factors going against this movie. Like apparently Daniel Craig wasn't really interested in playing the role at this point or something.
Then of course there was the pandemic who halted the shooting.
no, actually, shooting was finished.
Shooting was
the
actually
film-
finished.
Well,
The film was-
or
the film
at
was
the
just on
very
the shelf.
or at the very least, delayed the release date. Ow.
So what was up with Daniel Craig not really being interested in playing the role anymore? Was he tired of it?
So he went on to play the role for longer than was originally planned at this point.
Okay, to be fair to Daniel Craig, when he said that thing he said during the release of Spectre, he said it was because he was knackered. It wasn't because I'm sick of playing Bond or anything.
Okay, boss fight time finally, complete with this epic choir.
Wow. Again.
Again, props to the composer of the game. She's a woman. And let me check again her name just to be sure.
Oh my god, Yoko Shimomura!
No, but no, she has been very productive towards scoring some of these games and some cartoons actually. Let me see, Winfred Phillips. There we go.
I mean,
She's actually American. There you go. She did compose mostly for the Little Big Planet games actually. Well, she was apparently she'd compose something. Among other things, in the very first God of War game, somehow. Also stuff like Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation, Total War, Hope from the Revolution 2, Total War Battles Kingdom. She's still composing to this very day, actually. She's just a very, unknown into the big panorama of composers.
Yeah, that being said, like talking about the previous actual topic, I will still hold the Pete's Dragon remake as the best one that Disney has come out with, and I'm looking forward to David Lowery's Peter Pan, because he did the Pete's Dragon remake and he's now doing the Peter Pan and Wendy movie, which is the live action remake of Peter Pan. So I'm at the very least looking forward to seeing how that one turns out, considering he did good with the Pete's Dragon one.
I'm gonna say Cinderella is still the best because while the Pete's Dragon one is good, it sort of has to make, a completely different movie. Pretty much nothing is really shared between that and the original, except for the fact that there's a green dragon in it.
Plus, one thing I will say about the Peter Pan and Wendy film, I don't think there's that much pressure on it, especially considering the last live-action Peter Pan film we got.
Oh god,
It wasn't done by Disney, though.
But Peter Pan in general.
Yeah, again, Disney didn't really have a fault in that.
I mean, it's like what Jova said though. Jova, I can see why Jova felt that Pan felt like a Disney movie.
It really did feel like one.
It seems that it was in a period where Warner Bros. Was trying to do, because around the same time they had the director of the later Harry Potter movies to do his own version of Tarzan called The Legend of Tarzan that nobody cared about.
I saw it.
And hadn't they also introduced their own? And
actually, hold on, Jova. I'm actually interested, Bibbs. How was it?
It was just kind of bang average, to be honest. It wasn't bad or anything, but coupled with the fact that the director had to be prized from the film during post-production to make the first Fantastic Beasts film, I could tell it was maybe not exactly high on David Yates's
No,
priority
it's
list.
literally smack dab in the middle of his career between just the Harry Potter movies and the Fantastic Beasts one. It seems that as soon as he got contract by Warner Bros, he's being only almost on a payroll for Harry Potter stuff.
Hey, speaking of Tarzan, I think it was also around that time when Warner Brothers announced that they were making their own Jungle Book with blackjack and hookers to combat the Disney Jungle Book.
I think that one came out a couple of years after that.
Okay,
Did the Warner Brothers Jungle Book movie ever get around to coming out?
It got shifted to Netflix.
Oh, right.
I think it's better than the Disney one. I said it.
Did you see it too?
No, I mentioned that there was a lot of marketing actually about it, so I actually don't know what reception has been on my country, but considering how nobody has trashed it so far, it probably wasn't that bad.
I'm honestly wondering what David Lowery is going to do about the controversy with the natives from the original film. I mean, I'm wondering if he's going to cut them all together, or if he's going to do some...
Or do what Joe Wright did.
Seriously, I just don't get it. Why does everybody find it a tough thing when we could easily just do what the 2003 Peter Pan film did? Just hire Native Americans to play the natives!
Oh, I get that, Joe, but here's the thing. Yes, even if you do hire Native American actors to do it,
there we go.
What if David Lowery writes them, well, stereotypically? That's the problem, it depends on
how... And there you go. Shard, like a complete Chad, he just leaves, Allomere's body. Actually, he was actually about to leave Allomere inside the cave where he was collapsing.
Also, I do notice that this game has a bit of that segregation where, despite you equipping armor, it suddenly disappears in the
FMVs, you're naked, essentially, with that.
Which you'd think they would at least animate him with his father's talon things
and he dies like that. No, I think he has his talons. Let me see if it shows up in the cut. No, actually, no, it doesn't. That's weird. I guess it is because they have to have 4 different ones depending on the species of owl that you have.
And
remember,
that
you
was
have to pick one at the beginning. Yep, crushed by rocks.
I guess that's better than just being ridden off?
Yes.
Are you all right?
Allomere is dead. Justice has been served. I used to think honor and justice were ideals worth fighting for.
See, guys, it's just like what Gravity Falls. It's just what Gravity Falls has said. Revenge is severely underrated.
For what they give, for what they protect.
Like truth and fellowship.
Spoken like a true guardian.
So that's it? The pure ones are gone?
Defeated, perhaps, but not gone.
Yeah, while you were fighting Allomere, we defeated the pure ones.
They buried forever.
Yay!
To each their own.
The owlets of St. Aegiolius still await us. Let's go, Guardian.
Yeah, there's still, a rescue mission to be done.
It's an interesting Jeffrey Rush sound-alike.
It's Robin Atkinson, Jova.
I guess he's trying.
We are the terror of the flaps in the night.
Through the fire, the shield that guards the innocent. We shall defend the meek and vanquish the evil. We are the guardians of Ga'Hoole.
We have a kind of a title.
We're like some Guardians of the Galaxy.
And there you go. That's it. Now we're gonna get the credits. So again, much like in a lot of traditional tie-in games, the ending is very abrupt.
You said it yourself, bitch. We're the Guardians of Ga'Hoole.
Anyway, final thoughts. Why not, Dweebs?
It's exactly the same as the movie. It's completely forgettable and doesn't leave an impact on anything. So I mean, at least it's on par quality-wise with the movie. It's not worse or better than it. So props for that. Well, really, that's about it. It was, it's just there. It's like the movie. No one talked about it when it came out, and no one has talked about it since. And I mean, well, I can see why. It's just completely uninteresting. But yeah, that's it.
Pedro.
I will say that yeah, this game's being as short as it is definitely prevents it from fleshing out its ideas as much as it could have. Definitely, the story, while having potential, again because of the short length, doesn't really have enough time to really flesh out much of anything. And the gameplay looks fine, I guess. I mean, it is. So yeah, in terms of, I think the main problem with this game is just its length. Like, it's way too short. This game feels like it ended as soon as it began, really. And as a result, it struggles to make any sort of impression in terms of the story. As for the gameplay, yeah, it looks fine enough, but it doesn't look anything all that spectacular either. So it looks like it's a fine enough licensed game for what it is. But yeah, I'm not entitled. But yeah, I'm gonna have to say, yeah, I'm not exactly aching to play it myself, if that's if that counts for anything. It looks like it's fine, but nothing I'd go out of my way to play as. It doesn't, like, it's fine for what it is, but yeah, nothing remarkable. Sorry. Go on.
Honestly, this looks like it could be a fun game, but for $60, yeah, no. It's way too short to facilitate a $60 release. It doesn't have the high production values of a $60 release either, and while the gameplay is nice, it does feel like it could get old in a bit. Granted, it does add some new things here and there, and the game is short enough that it doesn't run that risk, but if you're somebody who likes to look for replayability, I'm not sure if this is gonna do it for you. Like, nowadays, when this sort of stuff probably costs like $10, or hell, probably maybe even $5, sure, yeah, give it a try, because, it looks fun, and I will give them credit. There is definitely effort put into this game. Like, they actually do shape it with the events of the movie. They literally fit it in and keep it consistent with where you find certain characters at certain points in the time here and there. And it gives a proper end to Allomere as well, who I guess is notched up to main antagonist status in this story, so kudos there. The voice acting is fine overall. The bosses, we've got some good ones here and there. Again, the gameplay is good. It's just that there's not much else to this game. So if you can find it for cheap, give it a go. But no, it's not worth $60. I'm sorry. Close us out.
What I'm closing with a final thought. So one thing that we tried to ask you while you were BRB waves that we didn't realize. Can you check in the meantime on your Disney Plus if the movie Valiant is actually there? Just out of curiosity.
It's on Netflix around here in the UK.
Okay.
So
remember, Jova. Remember,
there.
Jova. In the UK, it wasn't distributed by Buena Vista. Anyway, let me just conclude then. Honestly, it's a bit better than the movie to me, and I already had a more positive outlook on the movie in the first place, so there is that. It's definitely a much more tone-consistent experience, because remember, one of the major problems was that Zack Snyder injected a bit of his own what the fuckery with the brainwashing of the main protagonist's little sister.
Was that a thing in the book, though?
I was about to mention, it might have been something that was in the book, or it might not. I sadly still have to check out. Which, to be honest, both the movie and this did the job. I still have, in the works to actually get the books and start reading them on my own. They look, it looks like an interesting type of setting that might be interesting to read. But yeah, like Jova said, it's interesting that the game bothers to be as tight as possible in continuity with the movie. It really feels like just an actual tie-in. It literally is, of all things. And it's nice, but it's such a shame that the Chrome Studios wasted all of this talent, or even the good gameplay, mind you, for a product that not many people really checked out to begin with, because it was based on a product that not many people checked out. Alas. So
Oh,
it was a nice experience, but like Pedro said, the length is a factor that needs to be addressed. Again, the fact that this game is very short in general. Again, I wonder why. If it was really just a thing that Chrome Studios wanted to focus on what was there and polish it as much as they could in order to not release a quick cash grab, that was unpolished like many licensed game of this time. If that was the case, I'm fine, but it still doesn't justify the full price. Again, like Joe said, if you can find this game, on a decent discount, like I did, go give it a try. Probably the Xbox 360 version is better. I haven't seen what the Wii version looks like, but I'm confident this is one occasion where it looks kind of similar. You know. But that's pretty much it for us. So enjoy the rest of the credits, and we'll see you for another licensed games. Who knows what's gonna happen in the future? See ya.
See ya.